Welcome to our SAP IBP release highlight. Discover how you can convert stock transfer requisitions into deployment requisitions using our new deployment conversion run. This powerful deployment algorithm provides you with a broad set of options to decide which stock transfer requisitions, STRs, from prior order-based supply planning are best suited for further execution steps based on restricted available to deploy quantities, ATD quantities for short. Let's start by watching the deployment conversion run in action. After performing a supply planning run, we examine the situation in the distribution centers and the factory. To meet the demand in the DCs, stock transfer requisitions have been created between the DCs and the factory, along with additional planned orders in the factory. We've enhanced the available to deploy profile app for the new deployment conversion run. You can now maintain two horizons, the supply horizon and the demand horizon. The demand horizon ensures that only stock transfer requisitions in the short term are eligible for conversion. It also limits the demand elements such as sales orders in the shipping plant, which reduce ATD supply. By the same token, the supply horizon ensures that no supplies are added to ATD if they are too far out in the future. Let's see the supply and demand horizons in action as we set both to 50 days. Additionally, you can manage various supply order types that can be considered as available to deploy. Now, let's dive into the parameters of the deployment conversion run. We've introduced a new order-based planning job template, the deployment conversion run. Let's explore the parameters of this new job. In the deployment conversion run, you first define the planning area and version. You also have the option to set the planning start date to either the current day or a specific date. In this case, we'll start our planning on February 1st. Additionally, you can set further horizons, the so-called backward offset, to determine to which extent demand or supply elements in the past shall be considered. Backward offsets exist for past supply and demand elements in the ship from location as well as for stock transfer requisitions and deployment requisitions. Now, you select a planning filter to set the scope for products and ship from locations to be processed. By selecting the available to deploy profile that you maintained previously, you consider the horizons and ATD supply elements. By choosing the option Propagate ATD by, you define which rule shall apply in a fair share situation between stock transfer requisitions competing for remaining ATD supply. Moreover, you have the option to prioritize deployment requisitions over regular ones by selecting the checkbox Process Deployment Requisitions before STRs. You can also make various splitting settings for the conversion of STRs. To wrap up, the deployment conversion run allows you to define which types of demand shall be deducted from the ATD supply quantity at the ship from location before ATD can be used for the conversion of stock transfer requisitions. With all these settings made, let's perform the deployment conversion run. After executing the deployment conversion run, let's review the results in the projected stock app. In DC71, we can observe that only the first stock transfer requisition was converted into a deployment requisition. Similarly, in DC72, only one stock transfer requisition was converted. In the element view for the factory, we see that we started with 100 units on stock and a production order. This was sufficient to convert the first stock transfer requisition. A planned order further increased the ATD quantity, allowing the next stock transfer requisition to be fully converted. All subsequent stock transfer requisitions were not converted due to the defined supply and demand horizons. With the new deployment conversion run, you can convert stock transfer requisitions into deployment requisitions with unprecedented flexibility, enhancing your supply chain reliability. Thanks for watching.